Hello, everybody. Welcome back. I hope you're having a good time of it. And being aware that we're currently, as I'm filming this, we're in a Pluto retrograde. It's just begun on the 1st of May, going through until the 11th of October. So just be careful. Pluto's the transformer, so it's going to knock down some barriers within you. Just be aware. Okay, today I want to cover a little bit more about the systems in astrology, sidereal versus tropical. Now, I've previously done videos explaining the difference and why I have chosen to use the sidereal model, because it is actually in a line with the sky, so it's a visual. But I recently found out something very interesting, something I never looked into myself, and it has to do with this 23.4 degree difference between the two systems, which makes an enormous difference in an astrology chart. Now, the square in a chart is a 90-degree angle between two planets. So it's when, say Mars is at a 90-degree angle to Saturn, that creates a square. And the square in a chart is where you have challenges, and challenges in a person's chart are generally very prominent. They dominate so much. They're a normal part of what you have to experience in this life. So squares are one of the they're like the opposition and the conjunction and the square are primarily very dominant elements in a chart that you are likely to have difficulties with. Now, the 90 degree, what's really interesting about this is that if you take 23.4 from 90, you get what? 66.6. You get 666. Now, is that a coincidence or not? I had never done that calculation before. I'd never seen it. And somebody brought that to my attention fairly recently, actually. And I was gobsmacked. I thought, wow, never seen it. Now, the interesting thing that I'm taking from this is that, was this whole split between tropical and sidereal intentional? And I wouldn't be surprised if it is. Now, the similarities between the two systems is when you've got one planet angling another planet, they're the same in both systems. So if you've got a square in a tropical chart, you've also got a square in a sidereal chart. So that's the similarity. Where it differs is the sun sign, and the sun sign in the tropical astrology often is aligned to constellations, and they make the sun sign the most dominant element in a person's chart. Now, this 23.4 degree difference often means that you are not the sun sign you think you are in the previous sign, right? Now, this is really important because in mainstream astrology, most people who follow the magazines and the newspapers are aligning to their sun sign, and it's most likely what they're reading is incorrect. They are not actually that sun sign. So this is creating a big issue. And why is this so important? Well, the stars and planets have a major influence on our psyche, major. And if you're doing a spiritual path, for example, one of the prime focuses on inner work is knowing the self. It's knowing yourself, knowing who you are. And if you don't know who you are, it's about finding who you are. And it involves, this inner work involves deconstructing what is not you so that you reveal the real you. Now, in real astrology, not this just this sun sign astrology, it's a useful tool to understanding what is influencing you. So, that's termed your astral body, the influence of the stars and planets on you. And if you're looking at your sun sign and it's incorrect, then it's quite likely you're aligning to something that's false. And because humans are quite impressionable, we are malleable, influenced a lot, we are likely to take on what is said about the sun sign without really understanding who we are. And so, it's like saying you're a Gemini when in actual fact you're a Taurus, or saying you're a Taurus when in actual fact your sun sign is in Aries. It goes along like that. And if you're thinking that the sun is the most dominant part of your chart, then you're possibly aligning to something that is giving you false information, right? And you want to believe that you are the sign that you're told. And that's where things get dangerous, because you're fitting a mold that's not you. And it's like, having a size 16 body and trying to fit into a size 10 dress. It doesn't work, right? You're not going to fit that mold, but you struggle anyway to fit in, and you don't. Now, one of the things to understand also about astrology and inner work is that your sun sign may not be the most dominant force that is influencing you, because you have all the planets influencing you, not just the sun. Or it could be the opposite. Some people have a very dominant sun, and some of the other planets are not as they're not a focal point. But there is the danger there that if you're just focusing on one element in the sky, being the sun, you're missing out on the rest of it, which makes up your astral body. So you're really narrowing who you are. So, looking at this, if this whole system was intentionally derailed, it makes sense from, dare I say it, from a satanic standpoint. So what would a Luciferic influence be here when it comes to understanding the planets and stars and their influence on you, right? You're trying to find out what works for you, what doesn't work, what's impressed on you in terms of forces and what's not. What would be the biggest cosmic joke to happen in terms of finding out what defines you? What would be a starting point? Now, remember, way back in the ancient days, astrology was used as a psychology tool. It's the first psychology, effectively, because they knew the vibrations of each planet had a certain effect on you. Like Venus, for example, is it's lovely, it's beautiful, it brings out the beauty in you. And so if you have a strong Venus, it's very likely that you take a lot of care about your appearance, and you make sure that your surroundings, your environment is lovely and is Venusian, is beautiful. So the ancients knew the impressions that planets and stars had on the psyche. So it's important that you also understand what is affecting you. Now, this is a craft that's sort of been watered down over the centuries, for sure. And astrology has been demonized and being said to be, just an absolute load of nonsense. You know, it's the same with tarot, it's the same with gems and all sorts of different ways of doing healing and self-work. So this is, you know, this has become a major problem. We have been distanced from a means of finding out who we are. So remember that your chart is like a blueprint to your soul. It is, it's what animates you. All these forces are what animates you. So this cosmic joke, it could very well have been intentional so that you're thrown off the scent, so that you are intentionally fooled into thinking you are something different to what you really are. And, you know, from observation, you know, when you start doing real inner work, real intense spiritual work, you find out a lot of the things that have fooled us. You know, we are not who we think we are. We are not our conditionings. We are not what we've been programmed to think and feel. So, you know, is mainstream astrology, in terms of the constellations, is that another form of programming? So I just want to throw that out there and get you thinking about this topic, because it could very well be the case. Now, being told what believing what somebody has told you that you are is not good enough. You have to experience who you are. You have to find who you are from inside yourself, not because somebody said that you're this, that, or the other. Inner work is inner work. You have to discover who you are. Now, a person's chart, or the blueprint of who they are when they were born, gives you an indication of what is influencing you. So that's why it's good to understand the language of the stars, because you then understand, well, what's making me tick? Why am I doing this? Why am I doing that? You know, why am I this way? Why am I that way? Why, you know, why is this happening? This is all coming from understanding the forces, the actual forces. And if your constellation is off, I know I've said this before and before and before, then you're probably being programmed to think that you are something that you are not. Now, I've done many charts where I have had to tell the client, you are not who you think you are. You know, for example, saying that, you know, you're not Cancer, you're actually Gemini, or you're not Gemini, you're actually Taurus. And then, you know, after the shock wears off and they understand the full picture of their chart, then they can understand, oh, this is what astrology is all about, right? This is, I can understand, I can relate, you know, this is part of who I am. Now, just understand that the influence of the planets and the stars are like, they are forces that influence us in our life, in this existence. Your astral body is in this existence. It's what you're using to animate you through this life, and that will give you experiences and lessons in line with what the positions of those planets are. So that's, you know, that's important to understand. But you are not your astral body. So the astral body is that influence in this lifetime. You are like the center, and the astral body is all around you. So the center is your spirit, your essence, and your astral body, or the influence of the planets and stars, is that which animates this spiritual you in this life, in physical form. So understand that. So you have choice with what happens in terms of the influence of the stars. you have the choice of how you act and react, because every planet has a positive and negative. We're in a polarity. So are you acting in the positive of that sign or that planet, or the negative, right? Now that's life itself, navigating those forces. So just have a think on that 666, that 23.4 degrees, and you know, maybe take a wide berth on what it is that you're looking at. Now, to assist you guys, I have got the dates for sidereal, the sidereal dates for you. So in case you are wondering whether you're, you know, what you are in tropical compared to the sidereal, this will help you question just exactly who you are in terms of astrology, right? Now, the sidereal system aligns with the sky, with the night sky, and you can visually see that, you know, Jupiter is in Pisces. You can see that, well, you can't see Mercury, unfortunately. And with a telescope, you can see a lot of these things, but good, easy visuals are, you know, the moon and Saturn and Jupiter and Venus are very easy to see, provided they're in your hemisphere. So you can actually, you know, if you find out where Saturn is, I think currently it is in, I think it's in Pisces. I'll have to double check that, sorry guys. But you can see it in the sky and you'll get a visual on where it is, and it will align with the sidereal model. Now, if you want to get more information on what is going on in your night sky, I recommend that you download stellarium.org. So it's a free app. It's a big app, but it's excellent, and you can put it onto your phone or onto your computer, and it shows you exactly where the stars are, where the planets and stars are in your night sky at any time of the day. And this will show you that exactly where things are. Now, the Stellarium app aligns with Sidereal because it's the visual. It's what actually is. That's where they are, right? So yeah, that is a great app to use to help you start stargazing. And I've done videos on the stargazing as well, and how it helps you on a spiritual level, on an inner level, and with your third eye. It actually helps to clean it out, to hone it. Okay, so there's a lot of positives in regard to learning about stargazing and stars and where they are in the sky. Very good for you. Okay, so I'm going to read out the dates and what constellation they align to. So you may have changed, so just take note. Now this is on, you can screenshot this of course and save it if you wish for future reference, and tell your friends that, you know, this is who I am now. So April 14th to May 14th is Aries. May 15th to June 15th is Taurus. June 16th to July 16th is Gemini. July 17th to August 16th is Cancer. August 17th to September 16th is Leo. September 17th to October 17th is Virgo. October 18th to November 16th is Libra. November 17th to December 15th is Scorpio. December 16th to January 14th is Sagittarius. January 15th to February 12th is Capricorn. February 13th to March 14th is Aquarius. And lastly, March 15th to April 13th is Pisces. Okay, so by now some of you will have discovered that you perhaps are not the sun sign you thought you are. So just, you know, if your sun sign has changed, by all means, go and look it up and find out what the meaning of that constellation is. Now, I often get this, that I don't like being, you know, one of the classic ones, I don't like being a Virgo. I want to be a Libra. And the same with, you know, people love being Scorpio. I actually love that. You know, all Pluto people love being Plutonian. They love that depth and guttural element that comes with the Scorpio constellation. But in actual fact, they may not be Scorpio. They could be the previous sign, which is Libra. And it goes on and on and on. You may not be who you think you are. And often there can be, you might have a resonance with the Scorpio constellation, but it's not because your sun sign is there. It could be because there are other planets in Scorpio that is making Scorpio seem to be strong in your chart. The same with any constellation. You know, you might have your sun in Taurus, but you could have Gemini in Mercury in Gemini. So you have this strong resonance with being Mercurial or with being a Gemini, right? But it's not because your sun is there, it's because Mercury is there, right? See what's going on? So you have to take a bit of a wide berth when you're just talking about constellations, and you have to take the big picture and understand that you are influenced by not just the constellations, but the planets as well, right? It's quite a complex system until you understand things on an individual level. So when you understand what forces are affecting you personally, once you get to know it, once you get to know your personality traits as they're determined by the planets in your chart, then things are going to start making a lot more sense. Now, that analogy of being a size 16 fitting into a size 10 dress, it's quite true. If you're trying to fit into something that you're not, you're struggling, right? So even if you've got this ideal, this delusion that you are something that you're not because you want to be, that doesn't make it so. It doesn't make it right? So be aware of that. And, you know, I'm on a bit of a mission here to get people to start looking at the sky, to look at the stars, to start looking up and start looking inward. And I'd love to get back to people being able to see the stars and the planets for the mystery that they are. They're a glorious thing to look at, you know, and it gives wonder. Amazing wonder comes with stargazing. So that's one of my missions, to get people to actually look at the stars. Sadly, there's a lot of light pollution, and those that are living in cities are going to probably struggle with that. But when you get that opportunity to be out in, you know, the country, and there's not so much light pollution, take advantage of it. It's just magnificent to be able to do stargazing. And then make it a mission to start finding out what constellations look like. Now, interestingly, we've got on the 6th of May, there is a full moon, but there's also an eclipse. And an eclipse of the moon is a perfect time to test this theory about the visual and what constellation the moon is in, because once the light is dimmed in an eclipse of the moon, the stars or the constellation becomes more visible. you know, when there's a full moon, it's it's so bright that you can't see the constellation behind it. But when there's an eclipse, it starts going black, and then the stars appear. And this eclipse, this full moon, is in Libra. 6th of May 2023. It is in Libra, and it's being said that it's in Scorpio. Well, go look for yourself. There was an eclipse that I think it was last year, maybe the year before. Time is going so fast, and everyone's saying it's in Sagittarius, and I knew it wasn't because I knew it was in the previous sign, which was Scorpio. And so everyone's saying, oh, there's this major eclipse in Sagittarius, and it means this, and this is going to happen. It's just, you know, brilliant. And when it actually happened, I went outside to see it, to visualize it. You can actually feel the emotions and feelings that come from an eclipse when it fades out. It's really tangible. You can feel the light going out, and you can feel the effect on your energy, your etheric body, your chi body. You can actually feel it. So during this supposed Sagittarius eclipse, I'm looking up in the sky, and here's this magnificent constellation of Scorpio, which is unmissable in the sky. It's huge. And there was the moon being eclipsed. It just had a slither of light showing, and it was in what I call the shoulder of Scorpio. So that's near the arrowhead, and it was very, you know, like if I had to, you know, put my fingers up there, it was a good inch away from the arrowhead of Scorpio. So it was nowhere near Sagittarius, and there's your visual on it. So for this eclipse, if you are able to see the stars, so you're not in a city, then go and Google what Libra looks like and see the alpha and beta stars that are in Libra. And when the moon does eclipse, you go and see for yourself. Go and see for yourself where it all is. Okay. So 666, the devil's number. Did it have an influence on astrology? I'm just going to leave that with you and see what you guys think. Okay. So thank you so much for listening, and I'll catch you again next time. Okay. Bye for now.